So in the previous class we have discussed about policies, those things we have discussed. So today's class will be discussing about combining security association. So here combining security association means how we see here. If I go for individual security association, either if I want to implement AH or ESP, means AH means nothing but authentication header and ESP means encapsulating security payload. So an individual security association can't implement either AH or ESP. So, but sometimes traffic flow, what will happen? It will call for the services provided for both AH and ESP. So that time, what we have needed, we have needed both security associations. So here, combining security association means we are combining the uh, either we are authentication header or ESP. Sometimes what we are doing, we are going for either authentication header or ESP. But sometimes what will happen, traffic flow needed both authentication header as well as ESP. For that, for that reason, we are going for bundles in two ways. So here you can see security association may be combined into bundles in the two ways. So one is what transport adjacency. So what is transport adjacency means it refers to applying more than one security protocol to the some IP packet without invoking tunneling. Means what will happen? Transport adjacency means we are providing security to the IP packet. So providing one more way, providing security to that packet, it is called as transport adjacency. Means in the two ways we are providing IP security. So in the two ways or in the more than two ways, we are providing IP security, that is nothing but what? Transport adjacency. So without invoking tunneling, we are providing the security, because tunneling means we know what it is, nothing but what? Providing security to the entire packet. So instead of invoking tunneling, just we are providing security in one or two ways. So this approach, what will happen, it combines EH and ESP for only one level of combinations. So next is what? Iterated tunneling. So iterated tunneling means it refers to the application of multiple layers of security protocols affected through IP tunneling. So this approach allows a multiple level of nesting. So if you take transport adjacency, means here combining security association means we have to combine, uh, means we have to provide one or two ways uh, protection to our IP packet. So one way we are doing is transport adjacency. So in transport adjacency, what we are doing, we are applying more than one security protocol. And if I take iterated tunneling, there here what we are doing, here we are providing protection in multiple ways. So that is nothing but iterated tunneling. So next topic, it is about authentication plus confidentiality. So here encryption and authentication is combined. So here you can see here authentication plus confidentiality. Here encryption and authentication is combined through transmit an IP packet that has both confidentiality and authentication between hosts. So here confidentiality is also provided between host, and authentication is also provided between the host. So when user A and user B, when they are interacting, either we will be providing confidentiality or we are providing authentication. So but here what we are doing, uh, when the encryption is taking place, so here we are providing both authentication as well as confidentiality. So next you can see ESP with authentication option. So here ESP with authentication option, here the user first applies ESP to the data to be protected. Means first what it will do, it applies ESP to the data to be protected and then appeals the authentication data field. So here you can see ESP with authentication. ESP means with authentication means what we are doing. First we are applying ESP to the data. Then once we apply ESP and data is protected, then we will appeals for authentication. So that is nothing but what? ESP with authentication. So here there are two sub cases. One is transport mode ESP and another is tunnel mode ESP. So transport mode ESP, here authentication and encryption applied to IP payload. So here authentication and IP payload means means internet protocol, payload means nothing but actual data. So here encryption, authentication and encryption is applied to the actual data which is delivered to the host. But if you go for tunnel mode ESP, here authentication applies to the entire IP packet delivered to the outer IP packet. So in the transport mode, only for that actual data authentication and encryption is applied. But if you go for tunnel mode, for the entire packet we are applying the authentication. Means if you want to send a packet from user A to user B, so what will happen, we will be sending lot of messages. So in that, which is actual data, only for providing authentication to that actual data is nothing but what, transport mode ESP. But whatever message you are sending to user B, if it is totally encrypted and if it is totally protected, then that we are saying it as tunnel mode ESP. So next one is so here you can see next is transport mode adjacency, and another is transport tunnel bundle. So you can see transport mode adjacency means nothing but what, in previous we have discussed, transport mode adjacency means nothing but what, applying more than one security protocol. Here you can see uh, another way to apply authentication after encryption is to use two bundle transport security association. So transport adjacency means providing one extra security protocol. So here we are using two bundle transport security association. Then if you go for transport tunnel mode bundle, tunnel mode means nothing but what, it refers to multiple layers of security protocols. So here the use of authentication prior to encryption must be preferable for several reasons. So here uh, before you want to encrypt the data, means before encryption only the data should be authenticated. So once the data is authenticated, then you have to encrypt the message, then you have to send to the destination side. So that is nothing but what, transport tunnel bundle. So tunnel means providing security to entire packet, so transport providing security to the actual data. So here what we are doing, first for actual data we are providing authentication, then that whole packet is encrypted and sent to the destination side. So next you can see here basic combinations of security association. So this is explained with diagram. So you can see this diagram. So here you can see basic combination of security association. So here there are total 4 cases: case 1, case 2, case 3 and case 4. So you can see in case 1, see there, in case 1 it consisting of what, host, local internet, router, host, you can see there. So you can see host, it is marked with star mark, you can see it is represented with star mark in case 1. And case 2 you can see security gateway, it is there they have marked star mark, okay. And in case 3 you can see host as well as security gateway, it is marked with star mark. And case 4 you can see host as well as security gateway, it is marked as it is marked in star. So this it is important, why it has marked with star, you can see case 1 it is nothing but what, for any to end here case 1 you can see this case 1 is nothing but what, end to end communication. So for this end to end communication we are using one or more security association. So possible combinations are here, which are the possible combination, one is authentication header in transport mode, and another is ESP in transport mode, ESP followed by authentication, otherwise uh, A, B or C inside an AH or ESP. You can see here above. See case 1, all security is provided between end system that implement IP security. So here end to end communication is taking place. For any two end systems to communicate through security association, they must share the appropriate keys. So here in case 1 what we are doing, here you can see host is represented with star mark. So here end-to-end communication is taking place. When the end-to-end communication is taking place in case 1, there what we are doing, we are appropriate keys are exchanged. So if think that this host, if it is using RSA key algorithm is, then at the destination side also with the same key the packet has to be eliminated. So here end-to-end communication is taking place. So here which are the possible combination? One possible combination is AH in transport mode, ESP in transport mode, ESP followed by AH in transport mode, or it may be any one, either A or B or C inside an AH or ESP in tunnel mode. So if you see case 2, so here if you see case 2, here security is provided only between gateways. So here you can see previous security was provided host to host. So now here security is provided. You can see star mark at security gateway. So here security is provided only between gateways and no host implement. So here host implement was there in case 1. So it was star mark was there at host. So here security is provided between security gateways. So host is not implemented. So here single tunnel security association is needed. So here you can see previous in case 1 or more security association was needed. So here only single tunnel security association is needed. The tunnel supports. So this tunnel supports what? It supports AH, ESP or ESP with the authentication header. So it supports what? It supports authentication header. It supports encapsulating security payload, and also it supports ESP authentication header. So case 1 it is implementation between host, and case 2 it is implementation between security gateway. So here our aim is what? Establish communication between user A and user B. So how we are establishing the communication? If I take case 1, I am establishing the communication with the implementation of host, and if I take case 2, here establishment of communication is between security gateways. Then if I take case 3, so case 3 if you see, the combination discussed in case 1 and 2 are allowed here. So case 1 and case 2 both combination is allowed in case 3. So gateway to gateway provides authentication or confidentiality or both. So here gateway to gateway it provides authentication and confidentiality or both. So here individual hosts can implement any additional IP security services required for given applications. So here case 1 it is only implementation with host, case 2 is implementation with security gateway. So here case 3 it is nothing but what? Implementation of case 1 and case 2. So you can see case 1 we are using one or more security association. Case 2 I was using only tunnel security association, but in case 3 you can see we are using tunnel security association as well as one or more security association. Then if you go for case 4, so case 4 it provides support for a remote host. So it provides support for a remote host. A remote host means for a destination host, so that uses internet to reach organization firewall. As in case 1 or case 2, if you see case 1 or case 2, security association may be used between the remote host and the local host. So remote host nothing but what? It is related to destination side. Local host means it is related to source side. So when you are transmitting packet from source to destination, so here we can use either case 1 or case 2 or case 3, that is a combination of those two, or even if you go for case 4, it is combination of case 1 and case 2 itself. So this is nothing but what? A basic combination of security association. So you have to explain these 4 cases. You can see here case 4. This provides support for a remote host that uses internet to reach an organization firewall. Means in order to reach destination side. So using internet, it is reaching to the firewall and then gain access to some server or workstation behind the firewall. Only tunnel mode is required between the remote host and the firewall. As in case one or two security association may be used between the remote host and the local host. So next topic is internet key exchange. So here the IP security architecture document, it supports two types of key exchange. So one is manual and another is automated. So you know, manual means manually we are exchanging the keys. Automated means automatically it will be exchanging the keys. So here manual means here system administration manually configures each system with its own keys. Means it manually monitors or it manually it will check whether uh, each system administration manually configures each system with its own keys, whether with its own keys whether it is matched or not. So it will be checked manually here. Automated means here system enables on-demand creation of keys. So here on-demand creation of keys for security association and facilitates the use of keys. So here manually it will be we are checking the keys. Here on demand we are creating the keys. So that is the difference between manual and automated. So these are some default automated key management protocol. One is Oakley key determination protocol. So this is based on Diffie-Hellman algorithm, providing added security. Means it provide extra security. And another is Internet Security Association and Key Management Protocol. It provides a framework for Internet key management. And it also provides specific protocol support. So next is key determination protocol. You can see here key determination protocol. So this they have explained with equation k equal to with this equation they have explained. So what is this means? This Diffie-Hellman key, you know. So this Diffie-Hellman interaction between users A and B. If a Diffie-Hellman key I am using in order to interact between A and B, how I can write if it is YA means nothing but what alpha XA. You can see here YA is nothing but what alpha XA mod Q. Then YB you can see YB is nothing but what alpha XB mod Q. So YA is nothing but what it is user A. YB it is nothing but what user B. So user A it is represented with YA equal to alpha XA mod Q and YB equal to alpha XB mod Q. So here A and B they are nothing but users and alpha is a primitive root of Q. So this alpha what you are seeing it is nothing but what primitive root of Q. If each side if we compute if I take Y and YB, if each side we compute we will get the equation k equal to YB raised to XA mod Q which is equal to YA raised to XB mod Q. So this is equal to what alpha raised to XA into XB mod Q. So this Diffie-Hellman key exchange has two attractive features. So which are the two attractive features? One attractive feature is secret keys are created only when needed. So only when needed. So that time secret keys are needed. And one more attractive feature is the exchange requires no pre-existing infrastructure. So no infrastructure is not needed here. So one attractive feature is secret keys are created only when needed and the exchange requires no pre-existing infrastructure. So these are the two attractive features of Diffie-Hellman. Next you can see there are some weaknesses in Diffie-Hellman. So some weaknesses in Diffie-Hellman. So which are the weaknesses? One weakness is does not provide any information about the identities of the parties. So think that user A is communicating to user B. So user B identities will be not knowing to the user A. So it does not provide any information about the identities of the party. Either user B he will be not knowing the information about user A and user A also will not knowing the exact information about user B. So it does not provide any information about the identities of the party. And second weakness is It is subject to man in the middle attack, in which a party C impersonate between the user A and B. It means what? Think that user A is interacting with the user B. So what user A, what he will do? He will send some keys to user B. So with the same key, the user B has to take. He has to take the packet. So, but what will happen? Some user C will interact the conversation between user A and user B, and user C will send the key. So, what user B will think? He will think that the message has come from user A. So that is the problem in this Diffie Hellman key exchange. So that is one weakness. So that he has explained here point wise 1, 2, 3, 4. B sends public key. The enemy interacts the message E. So third point you can see B computes a secret key. So like that. So interaction A B interaction is taking place, but C will come in the middle of the interaction between A and B, and he will sense the information, and B will think that as it the information is come from the user A. Then there are features of IKE key determination. So what are the features of internet key exchange determination? So one feature is it employs mechanism known as cookies. Okay, one information is it employs a mechanism known as cookies. So cookies means nothing but a file where whatever you are browsing, so those information will be stored in that file. So that is nothing but cookies. Even in your laptop also you are having cookies. Okay, so whatever you will be browse, so what things you have browsed, I can go to that cookies file and I can watch which are the site you have browsed. So that is one thing. So it employs mechanism known as cookies. And second one, it enables two parties to negotiate a groups. So it allows two parties to negotiate a group. Third one, it uses nonsense to ensure against replay attacks. So replay attacks means nothing but avoiding replay attack means nothing but what? Copying the authenticated data. So it uses nonsense means it is a method which ensure that it is against the replay attacks. Then fourth one, it enables Diffie-Hellman key values, and fifth one, it authenticates Diffie-Hellman exchange. So these are the some features of IKE key determination. So IKE mandates that cookie generation satisfy three basic requirements. So we have discussed that cookies means nothing but what? Some file which stores what we are browsing, right? So here it mandates generation. So it satisfies three basic requirements. One requirement is the cookie must depend on specific parties. So first one is it should depend on the specific parties. Second point, it must not be possible for anyone other than issuing entity to generate cookies. So cookies should be generated by the authenticated person only. So only the authenticated person should know about the file. So that should be taken care. And third one, the cookie generation and verification methods must be fast to threat attacks. So whatever generation and verification of cookies are there, no, so that should be fast in order to avoid the threat. So here you can see there are three different authentication methods that can be used for IKE key determination. One is a digital signature, public key encryption, symmetric key encryption. Is it audible for you? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here the three different authentication methods are there. One is digital signature, public key encryption, and symmetric key encryption. So these three things we are using for authentication purpose. So three different authentication methods. So in previous class also we have discussed in email security. There we have come across this digital signature, public key encryption, symmetric key encryption. So these three are the methods which are used for authentication for the internet key exchange. So here, if I take digital signature, the exchange is authenticated by signing a mutually obtainable hash. Each party encrypts the hash with its private key. So public key encryption means the exchange is authenticated by encrypting parameters. Symmetric key encryption means here a key derived by some out of band mechanism can be used to authenticate the exchange. So here these three are the methods which are going to authenticate for the exchange of keys. So it may be symmetric key, it may be public key, or it may be in the form of digital signature. So next here you can see uh, so this here you can see IKE v2 exchanges. IKE v2 exchanges means nothing but what? Internet key exchange version 2. So here he has explained with the diagram. So first one, it is, you can see in figure, initial exchanges. So here initiator and responser. So initiator is sending my message to the user A is sending message to the user B. It means what? Initiating the message and it is given to the user B. So then the responder, what he will do, again you can see the second line arrow mark, it is shown to the initiator. So initiator, he is sending the message, then from responder he is responding the message. So first diagram, it will show about how initial exchanges will takes place. So here he has mentioned what are those things. HDR means nothing but what? It is IKE header. SAX1 is nothing but what? Offered and chosen algorithms. KE is X means Diffie element key exchange. NX means nonces. IDX means identity. So here has mentioned the terms. So A1, it is nothing but what? Initial exchanges. B1, it is nothing but what? Create child underscore security exchanges. So here what we are doing, first we are exchanging the information. Think that I am sending one message to hi, as the user B, I am sending a message as hi. Then I am waiting for the response of user B. Then user B will send the message hello. So it means what? Initial exchange between user A and user B will takes place. So once user A and user B interaction takes place, next step B is what? Create child underscore security exchange, security association exchange. Next what we are doing, okay, user A and user B interaction has been taken place. So the establishment of communication between A and B has taken place. Next is providing authentication to that interaction. So create child underscore security association exchange. So once security has been associated between user A and user B, next C is nothing but what? Informal exchanges. Then exchange of information will takes place. So first what we are doing, we are initiating the communication. So we are initiating the communication between user A and user B. So it means what? Initiator and responder communication has been taken place. So once communication has been established, then we are checking, we are providing what? Security association. Means we are exchanging the keys. So once exchange of key has taken place, then we are exchanging the particular payloads or actual data that will be exchanged. So third one is informal informational exchanges. So these are the things which are taking place in IKE v2 exchanges. IKE v2 exchange means internet key exchange version 2 exchanges. How we are exchanging the information, which are the methods we are going to follow when we are going to exchange the information, that is explained with this diagram. So next here you can see this diagram. So here diagram A is nothing but what? IKE header, and you can see B is nothing but what? Generic payload header. So you can see IKE header and payload format. IKE defines procedures and packet formats to establish, negotiate, modify, and delete security association. So here you can see diagram A is, it is nothing but what? IKE header. So this IKE, what IKE means, what it defines about a procedure and packet formats. So here IKE header is there. See, here IKE header means nothing but what? It consists of IKE header followed by one or more payloads, followed by one or more actual data. All of this is carried to in a transport protocol. The specification dictates that implementation must support the use of UDP for the protocol, for the transport protocol. So here IK means it defines about packet format. So in which way packet format is there, that it will be defined. IKE means Internet Key Exchange. It will defines about the format. IKE header format means it will be consisting of IKE header means, or it consisting of more payloads. So this will be carried by using what? Transport protocol, and this will be supported with the UDP. So you know, upper layer protocols are nothing but what? TCP and UDP. So using this UDP will support such implementation, that is IKE header. So here you can see, in already we have discussed about security parameter index, security responders to security parameter index, so message ID, length. So these are the header fields. So when you are exchanging the keys, there will be some header fields. So these are the header fields. So here figure A shows the header format of an IKE exchange. It consists of following fields. So what it consisting of? It consisting of initiator SPI. So you can see here it consisting of SPI, initiator SPI, responder SPI, next payload, major version, minor version, exchange type, flags, message ID, length. So that he has mentioned here. Initiator SPI. Initiator SPI means it is of 64 bits, which is initiate to identify a unit IKE exchanges. Then responder, it is also having 64 bits, chosen by the responder to identify the unique IKE security association. Previous we have in Internet Key Exchange version 2 we have discussed initiator and responder. So both are used to what? To identify each other. So next payload, it is nothing but it indicates the type of first payload in the message. Means there will be lot of data will be coming. So first data, which it is of which kind, so that it will tell about the information of the payload. It means what? Information about the actual data. Next major version, it indicates IKE, Internet Key Exchange in use. Minor version, it indicates minor version in use. Exchange type, here type of exchange, which type of exchanges are taking place, it will give the information about that. Flags, it indicates the specific option set for the IKE exchange. So message ID, it is also having 32-bit, which is used to control retransmission of lost packets and matching of request and responses. So whichever packet is not reached to the destination, so such packets it will retransmit. So that is the use of message ID. Then length is length of total message in octets. Octets means, you know, so length it will tell about the length of the total message. So next is um, so which are the substructures in the payload? So the substructures in the payload are, is one is proposal, transform and attributes. So this substructure includes a proposal number. So it includes a proposal number like a protocol ID. So which is an indicator of the number of transforms, and then a transform substructure. Then is transform. It is nothing but what? Different protocols support different transform types. Attribute, each transform may include attributes that modify or complete the specification of the transformer. So these are some substructures within the payload. So if you take the payload or if you take on the packet, so what are the substructure is consisting of? It consisting of proposal, transform and attribute. So it consisting of protocol ID, it consisting of different transform types, it consisting of attributes that modify or complete the specification of the transform. So last topic of this model is cryptographic suits. So cryptographic suits means set of rules. Cryptographic. So here you can see IP security version 3 and Internet key exchange version 3 protocols rely on the variety of types of cryptographic algorithm. So here you can see the format. See, when we want to send a mail, we are using RFC 5322 format. So here in cryptographic suits, we are using the format RFC 4308. So it defines two cryptographic suits. So which are the two cryptographic suits? One is VPN-A. VPN-A means Virtual Private Network A. Then another thing is VPN-B. VPN-B. So here VPN-A, what it will do, it will matches the commonly used corporate, and VPN-B, it provides stronger security and is recommended. So here format what we are using in the cryptographic suite is RFC 430 RFC 4308. So in this format it is having two versions. One is VPN-A and VPN-B. So VPN-A it is used especially in corporate, and VPN-B it provides stronger security. And nowadays most recommended is VPN-B because of more security purposes. So this is a small topic of cryptographic suits. So here you can see VPN-A relies on three DES and HMAC. So DES means data encryption standard. HMAC means hash message authentication code. So three types of secret key algorithms are used in VPN-A and VPN-B. We are using three secret key algorithms. One secret key algorithm is encryption method, another message authentication, and another is pseudo random function. So in encryption we are using cipher blocking chain mode, and in message authentication we are using for message authentication we are using HMAC with the key SHA-1, and VNB it is variant to CMAC with the output truncated to 96 bits. And pseudo random function it generates pseudo random bits replaced which is repeated use of MAC used for message authentication. So here these three are the secret key algorithms which we are using in cryptographic suits, which is having a version VPN-A and VPN-B. So these are the topics what we have discussed in today's class. So this finished the module. So you can see here this module. In this module we have discussed IP security overview in the previous class. Next our discussion was IP security policies, encapsulating security payload. So in today's class we have discussed about combining security association. So four cases were there. So with those four cases we have discussed about combining security association. Then we have discussed about authentication plus confidentiality and basic combination of security association. That is four cases. Then internet key exchange. So key determination protocol, and with the diagram we have discussed about header and payload format. And finally one small topic that is about cryptographic source. So this completes the module. So once again you please go through it. Even I am having PPT of this. I will share that PPT soon. So any doubts you can go through that PPT, or you can go through this notes, and if any doubts you can ask. Is it audible what I am saying? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, okay then. Then soon I will start. Already fourth model I have shared.